All right, hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are diving deep into something pretty cool, Zazen meditation.
And I know what you're thinking, ugh, another meditation episode. But hold on, we're going way beyond just the how-tos this time.
We're really going to try to unpack the philosophy behind it. We've got some really interesting excerpts from this text, and I
Yeah.
think it'll be interesting to explore what Zazen really means, like at its core, and how it can impact your life, like beyond just, sitting on the cushion.
Definitely. It's not just about learning a technique. It really
Mm.
goes deeper than that. It's about a way of seeing, a way of being.
Exactly. So let's start with something this text kept coming back to, this idea of just sitting,
Right.
or shikantaza. And like, on the surface, it sounds so simple, almost deceptively simple.
Yeah.
So help me understand what's really going on beneath the surface here.
Well, it is simple, and yet it is very profound. See, shikantaza isn't about emptying your mind or achieving some kind of special state. It's about cultivating this pure, unfiltered awareness of this present moment, whatever's happening, thoughts, feelings, sounds, just letting them be there without getting swept away by them.
So it's not about forcing our minds to go blank, but more about, I don't know, changing how we relate to what's already happening in our minds.
Exactly.
That's really interesting. And this text also talked about this line ZZ, which they described as like this ideal Zazen state.
Sure.
Almost sounds kind of mystical when you read it.
Yeah, well, the line Z's is really just an image to help us understand the practice.
Okay.
So imagine a straight line, right, representing that perfect state of presence,
Okay.
that full, awareness of the present moment. And of course, our minds wander,
Yeah.
right?
All the time.
We get caught up in thoughts, we get drowsy, we drift away from the ZZ's line. But here's the thing, Zazen isn't about never leaving that line.
Oh, okay.
It's about recognizing when we've strayed and then gently guiding our attention back to the present moment.
Hmm.
So it's this constant returning, noticing we've left and coming back.
That's the real practice.
That is the practice.
That makes sense. It's not about like beating ourselves up for having thoughts,
Yeah.
but more about like building that muscle to notice them and come back.
Exactly.
Now that we're talking about thoughts, I thought it was really interesting how the source material compared thoughts to bubbles.
What do you make of that?
Oh, it's a beautiful analogy, really.
Yeah.
I mean, just like bubbles, they appear, they float around for a bit, and then they just vanish.
Right.
Thoughts are very much the same. They arise, they linger in our awareness for a little while, and then TF, gone. And Zazen helps us see this.
Yeah.
We learn to observe these thoughts without getting caught up in them,
Mm-hmm.
without believing that they represent some, permanent or real truth
Yeah.
about ourselves or the world.
Right. It's so easy to get wrapped up in those thoughts.
Yeah.
Forget that they're, not necessarily even true.
They're just thought.
Right. Oh, and this reminds me, there was this word that really stood out to me in the text, kakusoku, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they were using it to describe this awakened state you can reach through Zazen.
Mm.
And it just felt like it was about way more than just focusing really hard or something.
Yeah, kakusoku, it points to a very fundamental shift.
Okay.
It's going from like a conceptual, thought-based understanding of the world to a direct experience of reality.
Wow.
Like, think of it as the difference between reading about a sunset and actually seeing one.
Okay.
It's a much more immediate, embodied kind of awareness. It's perception with flesh and bones, as the text puts it.
That's a powerful way to put it. So it's not just about, thinking harder or concentrating more,
No, not at all.
but engaging with reality in a totally different way.
Exactly. It's about realizing that thoughts are just one layer of experience.
Right.
There's a much richer, more direct way to perceive the world around us.
Now, before we wrap up, I think it's important to talk about some of the common misconceptions about Zazen. Because let's face it, there are a lot out there.
And this text made it clear that it's not about reaching nirvana or like becoming some kind of emotionless robot.
Right, yeah. It's definitely not about suppressing desires or striving for some specific state of being.
Yeah.
It's more about cultivating this deep and clear awareness of what is without judgment, without needing to change it.
It's about the process, the journey, rather than some destination.
Exactly.
But how do we take this beyond the cushion? How can Zazen really impact, our daily lives?
Well, that's the beauty of it. The insights you gain through Zazen, they naturally start to permeate your daily life.
Interesting.
As you practice, you train yourself to observe those thoughts and emotions without getting carried away by them.
So then you can respond to like challenges or difficult situations with more clarity.
Exactly. More wisdom, more freedom.
So Zazen kind of gives us those tools we need to navigate life's ups and downs with a bit more grace.
Yeah. It's not about getting rid of those thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
It's about changing our relationship to them.
Right, right. Learning to see them as, those bubbles.
Mm.
They come and they go. They don't define us.
Absolutely.
Wow, this has been such a fascinating deep dive into Zazen. I think we've really uncovered that it's so much more than just a relaxation technique.
It can really transform how we understand ourselves and the world around us. And to leave you with something to think about, the text asks this. If our thoughts are like those bubbles, what does it mean to be the vast, open sky in which they appear?
What a beautiful question to ponder.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to really sit with that image and see what comes up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.